Height, it's the physical manifestation of prosperity over generations. It provides the privilege of life on easy mode, and the power of such privilege is intoxicating, and it corrupts. We should ask ourselves, is this situation fair? And how do these dynamics play out in everyday life? Let's uncover the truth.
Small stature is basically a permanent branding of low social status, making it harder and harder to climb the social ladder because it makes it easier for the elites to identify you as being from a low status background, therefore discriminating against you in subtle ways. Everything from major life events like being considered for promotions or leadership opportunities, all the way to little everyday interactions. Height governs all of those things, and it impacts how people treat you and how people see you. If you're small, they see you as weak and vulnerable and an easy target, someone to take advantage of and use for their own benefit. Whereas if you're tall, they look up at you and they say, "Oh, I'm not messing with him." Not only are short guys less attractive, less intelligent, and lose all the fights, but they also get taken advantage of and are more likely to get robbed and raped. I mean, think about all the prison scenarios you've heard of. It's never the little guy who's going around doing the great thing, if you know what I mean. That's why I believe that small people, and short men in particular, were designed as a sadistic experiment, engineered to be sickly, small, and submissive. And that makes us easier to control and more reliant on the system for survival. And imagine if civilization collapsed and we went back to prehistoric days. All the stunted little runts that we have today that only exist because of our cushy industrial society and mass-produced consumer products full of chemicals, with all their sickly health problems and weak stunted limbs, would never be able to compete. Literally, the only way we would be able to survive is by completely submitting to a tall, rich person as our master and our provider. And that's exactly what they want. They're preparing for a situation beyond the course of civilization where they continue to hold all the power because of the generations of benefits that they've accrued beforehand. They literally want to make you their little bitch, to the point where even if there are 1,000 of us to every one of them, we would not be able to defeat them because our little arms can't even reach up to their chest. They're trying to infantilize the lower class, to stunt us, make us dumber, weaker, and more childlike, easy to manipulate and abuse, unable to exceed our lot in life or climb the social ladder due to a permanent handicap in our physical and mental development. The stunted, submissive race, like a child, looks up to their masters like a parent for guidance. And the master abuses that power, ordering us around with their deep, commanding voices. There's nothing they love more than having little people to compare themselves to and to dominate. And it's not just power for power's sake that they enjoy. There is a sexual element to this control. Because once you have all the money you could ever need, it's no longer a matter of, oh, I want this and I want that. It becomes a game after a while. And when you're playing a video game, sometimes you like to be sadistic to the people you control. And that's exactly what's going on here. One part of this grand plan is to completely immerse our bodies in these chemicals to the point where we can't even escape it. Like, we're breathing in all this pollution, and so these kids are getting asthma, and they say, oh, we're gonna provide these inhalers for these poor children with asthma so they can feel better. Meanwhile, the inhaler contains chemicals that stunt the growth of the child further. So not only are they not getting fresh air, they're being fed chemicals devoid of nutrition, but even the medicine that they need, that they rely on to survive, is being used to further disadvantage them permanently and set them apart from the dominant race that controls them.
They've also got chemicals that warp the hormones in your body, such as xenoestrogens that may make men appear more feminine. And that plus epigenetics over generations can also affect the shape of the body's development. So perhaps males might start having smaller shoulders and broader hips and have more feminine features.
If you think about it, even the English language favors height. Like, oh, I look up to you, or oh, he looks down on me, or that woman stands head and shoulders above the rest. How about he's large and in charge? The idea that the top shelf products are the ones that the tall, rich people can reach, whereas the poor people who are stunted and weak can't reach them, which is why we put them on the top shelf, because they can't afford them anyway, right? Even society is rigged against us. We have discrimination protections for religion, which is something you choose, but we don't have discrimination protections for height, which is something you don't choose. And they want us to focus on race and racism all the time, but nobody wants to talk about heightism and height discrimination. Now, this is a hot take, but if you think about it, have had 400 years of oppression. Short men have had 100 million years of oppression, and it extends to every species, not just humans. Now, some tall guy with height privilege might tell you that, oh man, you just gotta work out, bro. If you just work out and gain muscle, you'll get all the girls. And the great thing about being a short guy is you gain muscle a lot faster. Yeah, if you're a tall guy, it may take longer to gain muscle, but it's like what I was saying earlier, that it takes longer to reach your full potential, but when you finally do, you far surpass the potential of anyone of small stature. Those broad, powerful shoulders and long arms, fully filled out with muscle, are 10 times more powerful than the short little guy who's 5'3", who developed muscle quickly in his little arm, even though they look the same proportionally. So there's really no point in working out. Don't waste your time. It is a waste of time. I wasted 10,000 hours working out, and I wish I could take it back because no amount of working out made up for the short height with women. The only women that have ever wanted me would have wanted me without the muscle because they are bisexual and like pretty boys. So why bother working out? Even if you're strong, you're just going to be seen as having little man syndrome and compensating for something, and you're already going to be weaker than the tall guy. He's already going to see you as an easy target, so you might as well embrace being a little bitch, you know? I know this hurts to hear. Even if you work hard and build all this muscle and looks max and everything, you are gonna be filtered out of the dating apps for your height. Most of these women aren't even gonna see your profile, and you'll have wasted all that time and energy that you could have used focusing on trying to be an outlier, trying to overcome the disadvantage. If you can get lucky before you're 30, before you're too old, and you work really hard and you find the right thing and you focus on that, you start your own business, you become a content creator, there are opportunities out there to raise your status still. They haven't won yet, but luck is such a heavy component. And if you get too old, you run out of energy, I don't feel that it's worth toiling through life just to be milked by the elite as a consumer and a tax wage slave. Don't let yourself be their worker bee. And it may really suck if you like conventionally feminine women as a short guy, because those conventionally feminine women are always gonna want men that are conventionally masculine. And we are not that. But if you're like me and you like tall, masculine women with broad shoulders and big hands and feet, then it might be actually fun to live life as a short guy because you really can appreciate their supremacy and superiority even more if you look up at them and they tower over you. And that is a novel experience that would not be as extreme if you were average or tall. So I encourage other short guys, if they have a thing for tall women, embrace it. Don't care what other people think, because it will make your life interesting and worth living. And focus on your goals. And if you can get lucky, your life will be worth it. But if you can't, don't let yourself be a wage slave. I don't know about you, but I could not live with myself knowing that I'm nothing but a cog in their machine. That's why I'm giving myself till age 30 to get my life off the ground.
One of the best things that you can do to improve your quality of life as a person who's disadvantaged by their height is to learn to enjoy the pain and the suffering. I know it sounds weird, but there's something to converting those horrible feelings into a source of virility, as opposed to making you hate yourself, because you can enjoy being disadvantaged. It's fun in a twisted, corrupt, warped way to have elites towering over you, feeling helpless, frail, and defenseless. There's something exciting about that. And if you don't feel that yet, I'm sorry, but I guess you're stuck in hell, because that's how it felt for me. Feeling that way felt like hell. And now that I've learned to love the humiliation of it all, it's converted that hell into something far more interesting. I find myself enjoying the situation. I just wish that there was some, tall woman out there for me.
If you have any thoughts about the topic of height privilege, or if you have any personal experiences of height discrimination, I'd love to hear about them in the comments.